Healing occurs when you embody the new story. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to my channel. This is Priya, your manifestation coach. And in this video, I am going to break down why healing occurs when you embody the new story. But first, if you would like to get coached by me to help you manifest your specific person, I offer an online course, Manifest Your SP Mastery, that you can get instant access to by clicking the link below in the description box. I also offer monthly membership coaching to help you manifest anything you want. You can get access to this by clicking the link below in the description box. I also offer one-on-one coaching to help you manifest anything your heart desires. Again, you can get access to this by clicking the link below in the description box. Okay, let's get back to this video. Healing occurs when you embody the new story. Now, this video is really inspired by some of the questions that I've been getting from you guys about, like, don't we have to heal before we manifest our specific person or a new partner? What are your thoughts on like inner child healing and inner child work and all the things? So I thought I would make this video to shine some light on my perspective about how healing occurs, and also from my own experience of being on this manifestation journey. So I can only really speak from my experience. So from a mindset point of view, the way that healing occurs, and again, this is something that I've experienced, is when you focus on the new story, of whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, right? Whether that's a specific person, the perfect health, your dream car, your dream body. When you focus on the new story so that you increase your self-concept, where you know your value and your worth, and when you have positive assumptions about the thing it is that you're trying to manifest. So let's take the example of a specific person. Perhaps your new stories is, I'm always prioritized, I'm always chosen, I'm always lovable, I'm always worthy. Me and my specific person are in a happy, committed relationship. I'm the love of their life. They can't get enough of me. And you persist in this new story, right? And you saturate your subconscious mind with these new stories, like day in and day out, so that these new stories become dominant within you. Your subconscious mind will produce proof of this to you in your 3D reality. This is when you will manifest the version of your specific person that you want, or the car, the house, the money, your dream body, etc., etc. Now, as you persist in this new story that says, I'm always prioritized, I'm always chosen, I'm always lovable, what you will find is that healing will naturally occur as you shift into this new state, into this new version of you that knows you are prioritized, chosen, loved, and that your SP loves you, and that you're in a happy, committed relationship with them. Healing will naturally occur. What I mean by this is, when you are in this new state that says, I'm always prioritized, I'm always chosen, when this is truly your assumption, when this is who you are on autopilot, all the old stories and negative beliefs that you had prior to this, such as I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, SP hates me, SP doesn't love me, they cannot exist in this new state. In this new state, the version of you knows you are good enough, lovable, and worthy. So it cannot fathom thinking, I'm not worthy, my specific person doesn't love me. In this new state, those old stories cannot enter. Those old stories do not exist. So when you shift into the new state, the old stories no longer exist, they dissolve. And that's really when healing occurs. Right? In this version of reality, you're already perfect. You don't need to heal. And actually, even in this version of reality where maybe you're not feeling lovable and chosen, you're still perfect. But for most people, you don't know that, right? You're thinking that there's something wrong with you. But there isn't. You're actually perfect exactly the way that you are. Like, all versions of you are worthy of love. Like the version of you that's depressed, that's angry, that's happy, that's sad, that's excited. All versions of you are lovable, like period. All versions of you are worthy. But sometimes I understand it doesn't feel that way. So for me, from my experience, like when I first got into manifestation, which was, gosh, when was it now? Maybe 2015. And my first teacher was Abraham Hicks. And I remember reading the book, The Astonishing Power of Emotions. And in that book, they basically talk about changing your thought patterns. Like they had this analogy of upstream and downstream thoughts. So if you catch yourself thinking a negative thought, that's like upstream, and your job in that moment is to think a downstream thought, meaning think a positive thought like in that moment. And so it was just all about like changing your thought patterns and using your emotions as like your guidance system, as an indicator to let you know, oh, I'm thinking a negative thought right now. And I remember I applied this, okay? I applied this because I was at a point in my life where I was working in corporate London and I was making money, but I like felt miserable about like a lot of things. And I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be. And so anyway, I got into some manifestation and I applied this, right? Where I was constantly like on a strong mental diet where I was keeping my thoughts in check. And within 30 days, my whole life changed, okay? Within 30 days, I was in a new relationship. They gave me an 82% pay rise at work. I won tickets to the Graham Norton show. I won some money from the lottery. Like all these things just happened, were just happening like click, 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 boom, one after the other. And you know, prior to that, I remember I'd struggled for years where I was never really able to get into a relationship. I kept meeting people who I just didn't connect with. And at work, I really wanted a pay rise, but for 2 years, they were telling me that the company doesn't have enough money. You know, I really struggled. And then through just changing my thought patterns, suddenly all these things started happening in like 30 days. And I can tell you right now that when these things happened, I wasn't sitting there saying, okay, what are my limiting beliefs? I need to heal my inner child. And what are my wounds and all that stuff? I never did any of that. I didn't even know about that. I wasn't even aware of it like I am now. I had no freaking clue. In that book, it just said upstream, downstream, meaning positive thought, negative thought. If you catch yourself thinking negative thought, shift it in that moment. That's your only job. And all I did was focused on that. And my whole life turned around. After those 30 days, I remember because I had kept persisting with the new state, with the new story, I felt incredible. I felt invincible. I like naturally felt like worthy because I stayed focused on what I wanted. I stayed focused on thinking as if, or thinking loving, positive thoughts. So, you know, that was sort of my entrance into like manifestation. And I never did any of the other modalities that people talk about where they say, you know, you have to look at your womb and do this inner child work and find out where it came from and all of that. And I've never have done that type of work. It doesn't resonate for me, and I'm not making it wrong because, you know, some people are where they are on their journey, and for some people that's their path and that's what resonates for them. I never did that. I personally never did that. Even last year when me and my specific person, me and my husband like split up for a bit, even during that time, like when we broke up, I still never did that type of work, okay? Like, yes, when we broke up, I was so upset and I was grieving, like initially, although I'd manifested the breakup through my negative assumptions because I got sloppy with my thoughts, where, you know, I had a thought that this man is not my husband and then it manifested, so I did nothing to change it. And so when it happened in the 3D, it was very explosive and I was really upset and I was grieving. And for me, all I did was I just allowed myself to cry and to grieve, right? To like cry that out. But once I had finished that, I started persisting with my new story, right? So I just like honored how I felt. That was it. But then afterwards, I began to change my new story because I understood that by persisting in the new state, that would take care of my healing. And I guess you could say part of the healing was also like crying, yes, but you want to be mindful here because some people get stuck in a loop where they are constantly crying and constantly healing, right? Some people get stuck in a loop because they're like, oh, I need to heal before I get my manifestation. And so they go on this healing journey where they're like healing for like 5 years. It's 5 years and they still don't have the relationship because they believe, oh, well, I need to heal. Something's wrong with me. No, you're already perfect right now. You're perfect right now exactly the way you are. And so people can get stuck in that loop. I'm not saying everybody does. I'm just saying be mindful, right? That some people can get really stuck in the loop of I need to heal before getting my manifestation. No, you persist in the new state, healing naturally occurs. So for me, when I persisted with the new story of me and my husband being back together and that I'm always prioritized and chosen and all the things, I began to feel invincible. I was like building myself up inside, where over time, my triggers and the things I was feeling upset about diminished. They became less and less. So for me, the way that I navigated through that was I would honor the emotions when they came up. I wouldn't suppress them, meaning if I was like grieving, I'm not going to affirm it in that moment. That doesn't work for me. Like if I'm grieving, I allow myself to have the cry. But after I finish that cry, I go back to the new story. I'm not going to go back to the old story and continue to spiral and whine. That will keep me in a perpetual state of not having my manifestation and being in a state of I could be grieving for like years. And actually it was interesting because when the whole thing went down, I remember like with me and my husband, I remember there were some friends and they were all well-meaning who were like, yeah, you know, it's going to take you maybe a year or two to heal. I'm like, you don't have to heal for a year, right? And that's not what I've ever experienced either. And I was clear about that, like in my mind. I was like, why would I have to like heal for a year? Like, no, like if I persist in the new state and I become that version of me, healing naturally occurs. And whatever comes in between, if I need to cry, if I need to feel, all good, but I'm going to keep persisting in the new state. And so for me, that's what I did. And then 28 days from the day I started affirming was when I got my manifestation and my husband came back to me and told me that I was the love of his life and that he wanted to be with me. And I can tell you before that, I was really grieving. It was really like you could, I don't like using this label, but like traumatic, I guess, you know, where I was really in the story. I was really spiraling. I was really grieving. And then finally I could see what I was doing. And I was like, okay, this needs to stop. Okay, what is my game plan moving forward? And I was like, okay, I'm going to change my reality. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. And in the meantime, any emotions that come up, I'm going to honor it, feel it. But as soon as I finish that cry, I'm going to persist in the new story. So I never did any of the other stuff that I've been asked about in the comments, like inner child healing or any of that stuff, because I was coming at it from the mindset that I'm already perfect. Even this version of me that's grieving is worthy of love. And that's what I want to share with you. That's what my message is. You are perfect. Even now, even if you're grieving, even if you're upset, even if you're angry, even if you're depressed, you are perfect exactly the way that you are. You are lovable exactly the way that you are. You are worthy. All versions of you are worthy, period. And so the mindset that I approach this work from is persist in the new state. Healing will naturally occur. You will naturally feel better as you persist with the new story and you focus on what it is that you want. And that's how it's worked for me. In terms of like inner child healing and all that stuff, or any other type of modality that comes to, okay, healing, you know, if it resonates for you, like go for it. I personally don't practice that. It's not my way. But again, I'm not saying that that's wrong or that there's anything wrong with it. The only thing that I would say is be mindful, because sometimes people can get stuck in a story like, I need fixing, there's something wrong with me. And the minute you come at it from that mindset, you can be stuck in that cycle for years and you never get your shit. So whatever modality you want to use for like quote unquote healing, you just want to approach it from the mindset of, I'm already perfect. This is just going to help me to feel better within myself. But I'm already perfect. And I know that all versions of me are worthy and all versions of me are lovable, and sort of approach it from that mindset. So yeah, for me, from my experience, I just persist in the new state because I understand once I'm in the new state, those old negative stories cannot exist in my new state that says I am prioritized, I am chosen, I am loved, and I'm in a happy, committed relationship, right? When that becomes a new me, when that becomes a version of me that is like that on autopilot, I cannot fathom anything less. That's just the way it works. You're in a new state. So my message is healing occurs when you embody the new story, meaning you persist with the new story. Also remember that your emotions are a manifestation of your thoughts. So if you keep persisting with the new thought, you will manifest an emotion that is equal to that, right? If you continue to persist with the thought of, I'm always prioritized, I'm always lovable, I'm always chosen, me and my specific person are in a happy, committed relationship, you will begin to manifest an emotion that corresponds to that, an emotion where you feel really good about yourself. So do remember that your thoughts manifest into emotions. And so when it comes to manifesting your specific person or a relationship or even a car or money, if right now you're somebody that thinks, oh, I have all this healing to do. No, you want to shift your mindset from, I'm already perfect exactly the way that I am. All versions of me are perfect. I just need to persist with the new story. When I persist with the new story, I will enter a new state where this is now my truth. This is now my norm. And the old stories no longer have access to me. For me personally, that's the quicker and easier way. Also, what I will add is, for me, sitting there and focusing on the past and needing to go back to, where did I get this trauma from in childhood? What happened when I was 10 years old at school or whatever? I've never tried it, but honestly, even just thinking about it feels really off to me. Like, that's personally for me, okay? I'm not making it wrong. I'm just saying that focusing on something that I don't want doesn't resonate for me. for me, focusing in the direction of what I do want and persisting in that resonates for me. That feels good to me. And so that's the way that I share, like with my clients and in my courses and all the things, all the offerings that I have. So I hope this video has helped you to better understand what healing is truly about. To summarize, healing occurs when you enter the new state. Healing naturally occurs when you persist in the new state of who you now see yourself to be. When you become the new version of you that has your manifestation, healing naturally occurs. It's a byproduct of persisting in the new state. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day or a wonderful evening. Mwah.